Hey there, Star Wars Penguins fans. Your favorite Star Wars geeky penguin Bob here. And on today's podcast, I have only one question. Where is my lightsaber? Yeah, you heard right. Today I'm going to be talking about lightsabers, or in Star Wars lore sometimes referred to as proto-sabers. So, stay tuned, Star Wars fans, as we talk about the most coveted of all items in all of Star Wars, the lightsaber.
You're listening to Penguin Thoughts. These are the thoughts that penguins are thinking when they were thinking that they were thinking about the thoughts they were thinking when they were thinking them. That is, we think.
So, today, Star Wars Penguins fans, I'm talking about lightsabers. The most awesome and really cool blade that Star Wars fans all over the world would love to have in their collection. So, why am I talking about lightsabers today? Other than the fact that they are just like totally cool and awesome? Well, there's an article that came out detailing that Disney has invented a real retractable lightsaber. I put a link to that article in my description of this podcast. But first, before we discuss the article about Disney's new retractable lightsaber, I want to discuss what lightsabers mean to me. Ever since I was a little gosling penguin growing up and seeing the original Star Wars in the theater, this little penguin has been completely enamored and in love with all things Star Wars, and especially lightsabers. I remember growing up playing as a Jedi with my friends out to topple the Empire. Long live the rebellion. Anyway, back in my youth, I had this toy lightsaber. It didn't retract. It didn't even glow. It did make a whizzing sound when you swung hard enough to get the air flowing through it, and it was strong enough to actually allow me to play with my friends and do lightsaber duels. My fascination with this one device has been a big part of my life. To playing with my friends as I was younger, to what video games I tend to gravitate to, and some even play still today. One game in particular that was a real game changer for me in terms of feeling like an actual Jedi and controlling a lightsaber was the Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast by Raven Software and LucasArts. This game made me feel as if I was a Jedi in the Star Wars world and could wield dual lightsabers and use force powers, etc. All the things that a Star Wars penguin wished would make him a Jedi. That game is no longer in production, obviously, because it's so old, but there's also a still huge following for that game and mods out there to update the textures and models to make them look and feel better in a more modern graphics and gaming architecture. One such avid group following that game is Star Wars Movie Battles 2. It's a Star Wars Jedi Knights 2 mod that allows one to play a fast-paced, action-packed recreations of all the most iconic Star Wars movie battle scenes in all of the Star Wars saga. I personally have seen players in the game in a recreation of the Duel of Fates, where Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn fight Darth Maul at the end of the Phantom Menace. I have not yet reached the skill you need to perform in one of these recreations, because the Star Wars movie battles is a reworking of the game's mechanics and makes it way more difficult to control a lightsaber. It takes months, and I wouldn't be surprised if it even takes years in the game to master it. I have put a link to their website in the description of this podcast so you can check it out for yourself. Anyway, another game that made me feel as if I was living in the world of Star Wars was that of Star Wars Galaxies, And today I still play a version of that called Star Wars Galaxy Legends, where a group of avid Star Wars fans made their own servers for the game since the original Star Wars Galaxy's official servers are no longer online. Then there is, of course, Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original and also the new one, and also even Jedi Fallen Order, all of which sort of gives me that lightsaber fix I long for. Yet to date, even these games still which I play still leave me asking the same age-old question. Where is this little Star Wars penguin's lightsaber? So, that brings me to the Disney lightsaber article. The article's entitled Disney Invents Useless Real Lightsaber That Can't Even Cut Your Son's Hand Off, which is, of course, a nod to when Darth Vader cut Luke's hand off in Empire Strikes Back.
I'll never join you!
In the article, it talks about how the House of Mouse has decided to produce a lightsaber of their own. The article continues on to say that a web developer and a Star Wars fan, Ben Ridout, has looked into the related patent filed by Disney, and despite the caveat that it won't melt through metal glass doors or cut off your hand, the Disney lightsaber does feature an illuminated blade that will extend and retract at the push of a button. Ridout explains this is apparently possible and listed in the patent, detailing that Disney is using the same engineering principles used in the making of tape measures. Ridout writes, "The curve in the measure's steel provides strength, and the mostly flat tape can still be wound up on a reel inside the body of the tape measure." Disney has apparently modified this concept and created a cylindrical version of flexible plastic and LED light-emitting diodes tape that is also capable of extending and retracting in less than a second, just like a tape measure. The article continues on to say, even though that is a very neat idea, they question Disney's claim that it is indeed a real lightsaber. If the lightsaber doesn't slice off the arm of a Yeti or cut through steel, then is it really a real lightsaber? Either way, for me, I'm intrigued about the possibility of a prop-style lightsaber being able to actually extend and retract the saber portion without the use of special effects. Hopefully, it will just be durable enough to cosplay lightsaber duels. As for the real part of the Disney lightsaber, for one, I cannot see any company or manufacturer to make a real working lightsaber for public consumption. This, in effect, would be the same sphere as guns and other weapons that are lethal in nature. As for the cool factor, yeah! Would it be awesome to own a real, completely functional lightsaber like seen in the movies? Well, for short answer, duh. Yeah, that was so rock. A no-brainer. I want one. Anyway, the Disney article aside, there is a real working proto-saber that has been created already. There is a YouTuber I follow called the Hacksmith, aka James Hobson. James Hobson, the Hacksmith, and his team have actually designed and built the world's first working and retractable proto-saber. Just to clarify real quick what a proto-saber is, in Star Wars, a proto-saber is the very first lightsaber, which uses once again a focusing crystal inside the hilt, which the blade of energy is emitted. The main difference, though, however, between lightsabers and proto-sabers was that the hilt was connected via cable to an external power pack due to the limitations in power pack technology in the very, very early days of Star Wars, aka, like, for example, during the Old Republic. To read more about it, I've included a link to that Wikipedia site in the description of this podcast. So, I mentioned proto-sabers because this is what James Hobson, aka the Hacksmith, and his team have made, a proto-saber. I've put a link to his YouTube video in the description of this podcast, so you should most definitely go watch it and check it out. In the video, though, The hacksmith and his team make the hilt with a steampunk look and also devise a way to create a plasma flow using a fluid dynamics principle called laminar flow, which is when a fluid is flowing through a closed channel such as a pipe or a nozzle like in the video, and depending on the velocity and viscosity of the fluid, it can produce what appears to be a solid flowing stream. The hacksmith uses this principle to take propane and oxygen to be passed through a special nozzle to create a plasma stream that looks like a lightsaber. Now, this plasma stream is very hot, roughly about 4,000 degrees or so hot. And it does require a significant amount of power, more than can fit in the hilt. Hence, it is a proto-saber. It has an external power source. This proto-saber, with the help of special valves, logic boards, and programming, can, with a push of a button, indeed extend and retract the plasma stream-based blade. This proto-saber, as shown in the video, can also actually cut or burn through steel and other objects, and actually with rather relative ease. Now, in reality, is this type of proto-saber safe or practical? Not really. But is it really cool? Oh yeah, it's Luke, I am your father way cool.
You're listening to Penguin Thoughts. These are the thoughts that penguins are thinking when they were thinking that they were thinking about the thoughts they were thinking when they were thinking them. That is, we think.
So, there you have it, Star Wars Penguin fans. All my current thoughts on lightsabers in general, in video games, and even from the one that Disney is producing, and also the one that the hacksmith made. And this little penguin still wants his lightsaber. Just one that is more safe and more like what is in the movies. But until that happens, I guess I'll have to be content with just slicing up some stormtroopers with a lightsaber in Star Wars Battlefront 2 or Jedi Knights 2. Anywho, I hope you decide to come back and listen to more podcasts from this crazy Star Wars penguin, yours truly. And if you're so inclined, I also have a YouTube channel where you can go check out some rather silly videos I like to make, as well as other social media sites, which are all linked on my Anchor podcast page, and I would be greatly honored if you would come and visit and even subscribe. Slash that like button with a lightsaber. As always, once again, I am the crazy and silly Star Wars penguin named WhataboutBob, and I'm out the window because the door is shut. And I still want my lightsaber. May the Force be with you all. Later, peeps.